I am 93 years old, and I am going to say something that will make a lot of people uncomfortable, especially the men. Women over 60 don't want less closeness. They want more, much more, and not the kind you are thinking of. The world thinks that after a certain age, women go quiet, that we shrink, that we stop wanting, that we settle into our armchairs and our crossword puzzles and we just fade, like something inside us gets switched off at 60 and we become content to be invisible. That is a lie. A comfortable lie that the world tells itself so it doesn't have to deal with us. But I am 93. I have nothing left to lose by telling you the truth. So here it is. If you are a woman over 60 and you've been feeling a hunger you can't name, if your marriage feels like a roommate arrangement, if you catch yourself crying in the shower for no reason you can explain, if you feel guilty for wanting more when you are supposed to be grateful for what you have, this is for you. And if you are a man watching this, stay, because what I am about to tell you might save the woman sitting next to you. If you are brave enough to hear it, look at those two people, same couch, same room, same life, and 1,000 miles between them. That was me and Harold for 15 years. I was married to my husband Harold for 51 years, and I loved him. I want you to know that first. I loved that man with everything I had, but for the last 15 years of our marriage, I was starving, and he had no idea. Not for food, not for money, not for excitement, for closeness. The kind that has nothing to do with the bedroom and everything to do with being known. He wrote me letters when we were young, beautiful letters. I kept everyone, and sometimes I wonder if the man who wrote those words was still inside him somewhere, just buried under decades of forgetting how to say them out loud. Here is what happened. When the children left home, I thought Harold and I would finally have time, real time, the kind we hadn't had since our 20s. I imagined long conversations over dinner, walks after supper, maybe dancing in the kitchen again like we used to before the babies came. But instead of coming closer, Harold went further away. He got quieter. He spent more time in his workshop. He watched more television. He sat across the room instead of beside me. And when I try to talk to him, really talk, he'd say, "What do you want to talk about?" Like conversation was a task I was assigning him. That chair became his whole world, and I wasn't in it. I was 3 feet away, and I might as well have been in another country. And I know what some of you are thinking. That is just how men are. That is how men are allowed to be, because we've spent 60 years excusing emotional distance as a personality type instead of calling it what it is, neglect with a recliner. I made dinner every night for 51 years, and for the last 15, I ate alone at a table set for 2. He was there, but he wasn't with me. And that is a loneliness worse than being by yourself. But this next part might sting a little, because I didn't just blame Harold. I blamed myself. For years, I thought something was wrong with me. I thought, you are 63 years old. Why do you still need this? Why do you still want someone to hold your face and look at you like you matter? Why can't you just be happy with what you have? And I'll tell you why I thought that. Because every magazine, every television show, every conversation at church told me the same story, that a good woman over 60 is content. She doesn't ask for more. She is grateful. She is quiet. She is settled. Settled. That word. Like we're sediment at the bottom of a glass. Like we're done moving, done feeling, done wanting. I wasn't settled. I was suffocating. And I was too ashamed to say it out loud. So let me tell you what women over 60 actually want. Because it is not what the world thinks. And it is not what most husbands assume. We want to be asked a question that isn't about dinner or the grandchildren or the doctor's appointment. We want to be asked, "How are you?" No, really. How are you? And then we want you to wait for the real answer, not the polite one. We want to be touched without it being a transaction. A hand on the small of your back while you are cooking. A kiss on the forehead that doesn't lead anywhere except the feeling of being noticed. We want someone to walk up behind us and put their arms around us for no reason at all except that they wanted to be close. We want you to look at us, not past us, not through us, at us. The way you did when we were 25 and everything was new and you couldn't stop staring. We know our faces have changed. We know our bodies have changed. But we're still in here, and we need you to see that. Those two people in the old photograph, they couldn't keep their eyes off each other. And the two people in the new one can't seem to find each other at all. Same love, different rooms. That hallway was 10 steps long, but some mornings it felt like a mile, and neither of us knew how to cross it anymore. And here is what nobody tells you. This wanting doesn't decrease after 60, it increases, and there is a reason for that. By 60, most women have spent decades pouring themselves into other people. Children, husbands, aging parents, jobs that took everything and gave back a paycheck. And by the time the house gets quiet and the obligations thin out, there's this enormous emptiness. Not because we lost purpose, because we finally have time to feel what we've been ignoring for 30 years. All those years of putting everyone else first, of being the strong one, the steady one, the one who held it all together. That doesn't make the need go away, it makes it compound. Like interest on a debt nobody told you was accumulating. So when a woman over 60 says she wants more closeness, she is not being needy, she is not being dramatic. She is collecting a debt the world owes her. She gave everything for decades, and now she is saying, "It is my turn. See me, hold me, know me." You've been carrying everyone else's coat for 60 years. It is time to hang yours up and let someone carry you for a while. I want to tell you what I wish I'd told Harold, because I never said it clearly enough, and by the time I understood the words, he was gone. I would have said, "Harold, I don't need you to fix anything. I don't need you to plan a vacation or buy me something or solve a problem. I need you to sit with me, in the quiet, and let me feel like I am not alone in this house even when we're in the same room." That is all it was. Presence, real presence. Not the kind where your body is in the room but your attention is on the screen. The kind where your whole self shows up and says, "I am here with you, on purpose." Harold did love me, in his way. He fixed things around the house. He kept the car running. He never missed a mortgage payment. And I know that was his language. I know that is how he'd been taught to show love, through doing, through providing. But doing isn't the same as being. And a lot of men from our generation never learned the difference. They were taught to build, not to sit, to provide, not to listen, to protect, not to hold. And by the time their wives were begging for closeness, they didn't even have the vocabulary. How do you ask for something when nobody ever gave you the words? Harold wasn't cruel. He was uneducated in the only subject that mattered. And so was I. We both failed the same class. Stay with me. This is the part I need you to hear most, because this isn't just about marriage. This is about every woman over 60, married or not. If your husband won't give you closeness, find it elsewhere, not in an affair, in friendship. Deep, honest, unashamed friendship with other women who understand what you are carrying. After Harold died, the women in my life saved me. My friend Dorothy, my neighbor Ruth, my sister-in-law Jean. They sat with me. They held my hands. They asked the real questions and waited for the real answers. They gave me the closeness I'd been aching for, and I realized something that broke my heart and healed it at the same time. I'd been asking one man to meet a need that was bigger than any one person. Closeness isn't something that lives in one relationship. It lives in a web, in a circle of people who choose to see each other fully. Closeness was never meant to live in just one person. It lives in a circle, and the wider you build that circle, the less any one absence can break you. So here is what I want you to do. If you are a woman over 60, stop apologizing for wanting closeness. Stop shrinking your needs to fit someone else's comfort. Stop telling yourself you should be grateful for silence just because there is food on the table and a roof over your head. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to say it out loud. You are allowed to look at the person you've loved for 40 years and say, "I need you closer. Not just in this house, in this life." Say it. Write it down if you have to, but don't keep swallowing it. The words "come closer" have saved more marriages than any counselor I've ever met. And if you are a man watching this, I'm going to tell you what I wish someone had told Harold at 62, instead of me learning it alone at 76. Put down the remote. Turn off the game. Walk across the room. Look at your wife and say 5 words. Tell me how you are, and then wait. Don't offer solutions. Don't change the subject. Don't check your phone. Just wait. Because the woman sitting across from you has been holding herself together for decades, and all she needs is for someone to say, "You can put it down now, I am here." 5 words. That is all it takes. 5 words and the willingness to stay in the room after you've said them. That is not weakness. That is the strongest thing a man can do. If something I said today made your chest ache, if you recognized your marriage or your loneliness or your silence in my words, Share this. Send it to your husband without saying a word. Let him watch it. Let the conversation start on its own. Or share it with your sister, your friend. The woman at church who always smiles but whose eyes look tired. She needs to hear that she is not broken for wanting more. She is just awake. Tell me in the comments what you wish someone had said to you at 60, or what you'd say to your younger self about closeness. I read everyone, and I promise you, you are not alone in this. You are not invisible. You are a candle in a room full of people who forgot to look up. But you are still burning, and someone will see it. You deserve closeness, not someday, not when you've earned it now, while your hands can still reach, while your heart can still feel, while there is still someone across the room worth walking toward. Harold, if you can hear me, I forgive you. You did your best, but I wish you'd cross the room more often. Now, go cross yours.